Hello, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whichever you prefer, compliments with the season. Welcome to ZBTR TV. It is December 14th. Wow, the month is flying, flying, flying. Soon the year will be over and we'll be saying 2025. We welcome you to the show. Tell a friend ZBTR is alive. Today we have an amazing story for you to tell, to discuss out of this lady is amazing. Like a friend of mine said, she's got a compelling story. We'll be talking about resilience and how to emerge out of resilience and push forward. We want to thank Kitchen Muse for sponsoring this today's program. If you have any catering needs, please get in touch with Kitchen Muse. They are our sponsors for today. And if you also like to follow us on social media, please click on that barcode on the side. It will take you to all our social media platforms. All right, so let's get started here, and we shall be introducing our guest from Washington, D.C. Dr. Grace Mukupa is a Fulbright scholar and specialist. She's a director and data analyst. She is also the first woman of color to be president of the Crystal City Pentagon Rotary Club. Grace Maugabwanji.
It's morning. See, we're in different time zones. Taukamushe, mabuga buti,
Twavuka, Merry Christmas to you.
Dobrovutra, Zdravo, everyone.
Oh my goodness, it's been a long time coming. I was looking towards this conversation and just to hear what you have to share, to inspire, to challenge, and to get every one of us to rise up to the occasion. Let me begin by asking this question. I watched your presentation during the you call it, is it Fulbright Talks? That's what it's called. It's like TED Talks, but this one is for the Fulbright scholars, right?
Correct. Oh, you watched it? I don't
Yes,
watch
I
myself.
did.
I always get shy. So thank you.
I watched it and I was like, wow, all right. We've got some very smart Zambians, eh? You told the story about how the women of Mumbwa raised you. Tell us about your life growing up. Is it Mwana Mangala village in Mumba district? Is that correct? Mwana Mangala. I want to say that.
So you really watched it. That's why it's Mwana Mungule. So first of all, let me just thank this weekend. It's almost holidays. I just want to greet everyone that's watching, that's with us this morning, afternoon, wherever you are. And I wanted to thank you for creating a platform where stories come alive, where people understand that their position in life and their seat that they occupy wherever they're sitting means something to someone, whether it's
Yes.
just your mom, your family, or maybe it's your community. So creating such a platform where we share stories is appreciated, and I'm very grateful that you chose me. You asked me to come. Not indeed, 1 year. So thank you for inviting me. Yes, I know where you're taking me. You're taking me back to the story I shared with the Fulbright talks.
Mhm.
Even though our family hail from down south, like the southern part, in South Africa, Zimbabwe, I was born in Zambia. I was
Mhm.
born in Zambia. And you talked about the women, they're Mwana Mungule. So it's a village, a small,
Mana
small
Mongole.
village,
Mhm.
but they're gonna hear it today because I'm here. So my upbringing in Mwanamungule, really, it's a district in Central Province, actually, Mumbai side, in Yaset Light.
Mhm.
It was deeply shaped by the women, these village women, and as I shared in my story, they'll wake up and go to the field, or wake up early, go to get mushrooms, or maybe go to the farm and come back and cook, and they'll do the same thing over and over again, right?
Yeah.
For
Mhm.
me, when you look at it, someone, if I just went to the village for one time, it would be a torture. But
Mhm.
so, but this is who they were. So this really, they raised me through their resilience. I'll say their wisdom, right? Their
Mhm.
wisdom,
Mhm.
resilience, and a collective spirit. If you did something wrong, a woman will beat you up and slap you on behalf of your auntie, your grandmother. The women in this community really taught me the value of hard work. They
Wow.
taught me the community and self resilience and self value. So growing up in this, I was surrounded by strong role models. They were loud
Yes.
women. They were harsh. They were beautiful, yet they had this strength that comes out to support one another. So life was simple, but it was a foundation for my future. And as we
Mhm.
walk through this thing, it was a foundation, but also an inspiration that values like it values humanity, but also I value every
Mhm.
day because it taught me a lot about
Mhm.
myself and about the women.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. As growing up as young girls, this is typically the same thing that you see for every young African girl growing
Hmm.
up. House chores whilst the boys are playing outside. You tell about you also speak of how the house chores or the responsibilities that you were given
Hmm.
developed translated into developing a hard-working culture. How did you embrace and navigate your upbringing? Because most of the people who complain about it, oftentimes you hear people speak from a negative point of view about how they were raised. I'll use the word difficult environment loosely, but
Yeah.
you embrace it and you say it translated into making you a hard worker. And there is one phrase that you used when you
Hmm.
talk about these women from Wana Mongole. You say they said to you, on the hardships. I want you to speak to that and just how you embraced your chores and your upbringing, which translated into making you a hard worker.
Hmm. So understanding who you are really
Mm,
positions you on a global scale, how you can navigate difficult situations. I'm not ashamed. I'm actually proud that I was. It's not. We say humble beginning. What is humble about it, right? Oh,
mm,
it was difficult. What was difficult about it? Someone else might walk in my shoes and say that was not difficult. So I'm speaking this story from my point of view. This is my
yes.
story, not someone else's. So I don't want someone taking translate and say, ah, ineneza kumumba na ine. They were not doing this. So this is my story. You can write your own as well, but our journey and not someone else's journey. And
That's right.
Vankama, I think we spoke in the past. I've had people say, "Oh, if I did it, you can do it." I'm in the U.S., you can do it. No, it's not. If I can do it, you can do it. Everyone has a different path in life.
That's
It
right.
might be parallel. You might walk in a similar steps, but you won't walk in the same shoes. We're individually created, beautifully created differently. So don't ever challenge someone that I didn't, because your path and God's plan, or whoever you believe as a higher being's plan, is not yours, is not theirs. So speak about your story. So for me, when you talk about Mumbai, it was difficult part. I'm not a morning person. So I could say
Mm.
difficult part is waking up in the morning, even in America. You know, I used to say, Tiani kumunda katuya kumunda kamuvuga mbuga vuga nini lina vugani. So
Mm.
my grandmother would say, wake up. The women were supposed to go in the field early.
Mhm.
I grew up with my grandparents, but different times I had different aunties. They pick you up to, during the summer for you
Yes.
to babysit. But when you go back home to the village, well, I used to cook with firewood at the young age. When you go back to the village and you have a uniform, this for me, it was a privilege of being Kumalite, you know. It have been Lusa Kumalite. And then you
Uh,
go, for me, it didn't matter, whether someone abused you, whether someone scorned you, use a bad word, you just internalize and move on. You're like, this is a small battle. You got to choose your battles sometimes, right? You
that's right. That's right.
fighting. So the difficult part was for me to this day is waking up in the morning, but I'm very responsible. Where there's responsibility, there's accountability. So we wake up to sell mangoes, wake up to sell cornmeal to my basket. So it was hard for me to play a woman's role because we had to go to the farm and wake up. But when I was visiting my aunties, my uncles who took me, I had to put cobra, wake up as a woman. It
Mhm.
was okay.
Mhm.
But when I was at the farm, this was my home. I chose to look after cows. So if you know me by Nathan, I love my
You see, that's the
I
other
love my
interesting
hills.
the other interesting part is that a
Uh-huh.
girl was kuchema ng'ombe.
Man, I know I love my hills, but yeah, no, Kuchemangum, I love my hills. But yeah, I could milk a cow in the hills. I think I really
Oh.
enjoyed the unprescribed role of a woman. And
Mm.
as in my story, when you look after cows, you have time to chill, you have time to navigate your thoughts, and also to really reflect on life. So I used to read books instead
Mhm.
kumundayo on every single in a minute. And
Mhm.
you're in a group. This is our family. I mean, I don't know how people do kumundas. Sometimes we hire people to help us. But when I was looking after cows, I had one or two friends. You either fight with them or get along with them. Then you come home, you're chill. So I enjoy, and I was a grandchild. I don't know, in a Zambian culture, a grandchild can be played for grandparents,
Mhm.
not their children. So for me, looking after cows and in our family, they say, "Oh my nini." There's my group that used to call my Nino Gracie, So I enjoyed those shows. It wasn't difficult per se or from a negative point, as you asked me. I think I'll speak from a proud point that I was able to experience that, and it added value to my life as time went
Mhm.
by. Hmm.
So muri panyumba, ah,
Yeah.
the other people are at the fields, they are plowing, they are doing what they are doing.
Hmm.
Mwapika,
Hmm.
you deliver the food,
Yes.
and you even continue to help. You also join in helping doing the munda, okay?
Yeah. Oh,
And
you.
then you
Mm-hmm.
go to the roadside to Mongo Lusaka Road to sell
Uh-huh.
mangoes, and you also went to school. How did you navigate this?
I think I mean when you come from a family that values education
Mm-hmm.
and that values what education can do in society's mobility and job and moving those paths together, you will understand. I think you had no choice. When
Mm-hmm.
I grew up, I didn't know other people didn't do that. I actually thought it was a way of life, because you go to school, you come back, you do this. If you didn't do it, our village, you look at you like, you're lazy. You don't
Mm.
help the parents, because our goal was to raise our parents. You see, my village raised me. That's how I say.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
raised me, and my foundation is at childhood. Later on, I'm raising them right now. If you ask me, as we continue, I'm helping my village right now, but because they've raised me. If I didn't
Mm.
have that connection of going from school, doing this, doing that, um, I would not have value in life. You have to live life purposely,
Mm.
intentionally. So yeah, so how did I navigate it? I mean, I'm energetic now, but I used to be, kamfana, natamanga cool. I had my aunties. One of my aunties, I know she might be listening. She used to have asthma, and sometimes she's like, I have asthma. I was like, you're lying, honey. Auntie, you're lying. Younger than me. I think you just don't want to go to the farm. But really, she had asthma. I just, you find fun in what you do. You find love in what you do. If you when you wake up is really frustrating, you gotta think twice about it and change the way you live life. So I
Mm.
navigated because I had foundation and my family didn't give me a choice. So I didn't pass a choice. Right?
I know, right?
Uzahambe masimini. Eh?
I love that. I love that. So suddenly, if I may use that word during the process of that, your
Mhm,
village, you say when you make your Fulbright talks,
mhm,
you say your village became a global village
mhm,
when you moved to Japan. From
mhm,
Mwanamungule to Japan, oh my goodness, what a pendulum swing, you know?
mhm. My own. Yes,
Talk
yes.
about talk about your early days and experience whilst in Japan. What was the first thing that shook you?
People, oh wow, you really listen to the story. That's what I said exactly. You'd be my translator in the future. You see, you pay attention to details. My aunt took me to Japan, but
Hmm.
prior to moving that, so I was Mumbwa, moved to Mazabuka, Magoye Mazabuka. We were there. I speak Tonga, that's why I sometimes I throw a little words. But I also Nikamba Shinyanja. So moving to Japan and finished school there. I
Hmm.
was the only,
High school, right?
yes, and I
Mm.
was the only. So we had a middle school girl who was from Ghana. Her name was Linda, and I became the second black person. And we went to Sacred Heart International School, which was in Tokyo, right
Okay.
at the center. If you have seen the Om Shinrikyo sarin gas, Japan went through that. I was there. It was a terrorist attack. It was about gas, so we were being actually every year they'll check us, for gas. So when you look during that time frame, I was there. But Linda, who was the other black girl from Ghana, left, so I became the only black person there. So my navigating from a village was oh my god, as a young person, you you see excitement but you see challenges, right? It was
Mm.
exciting but also challenging experience. Japan exposed me to a new world, a newer
Okay.
perspective, Mamona. A contrast from a Zambian village. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to navigate a new culture, a new language, a new society and societal norms that exist. You're not putting in a back burner the Zambian experience. You are understanding when to acculturate yourself, right?
Mm.
The experience, I'm trying to think. The experience really broadened my understanding of the world because my village was not. I knew I had lived in Lusaka in and out, but
Mm.
I had my village at the overarching level. The
Yes.
world deepened. I appreciated more of humanity, of people that look different. My school had 66 nationalities.
Wow.
Kind 66 nationalities. So I understood diversity, what it meant. Despite the challenges I had, at home, it was also an opportunity for me to learn and adapt, which, let's see, when you adapt into new environment, what do? You really see the world, you reshape your thoughts, your outlook on the world, and your approach in life. So that's what Japan did. It actually brought my village on a global scale. But guess
Global
what?
scale. Mm.
I'm still talking about my village people. I
Yeah.
had to share that. Oh, the women, and I should write a book, about my village people. They'll make
Yes,
me.
you need to. The people watching are asking that how did you get to Japan?
Oh, my aunt was a diplomat.
Hmm.
She was assigned to go to Japan, and I actually lived with her. She had two kids, and when she got assigned, actually we didn't know because my mom was a little absent and inside also, but absent. So when my aunt took me, people actually thought I was a brother and sister biological of my little cousins. I was the oldest one. And my aunt didn't want us to separate because you separate the family.
Okay.
Um, and we were already family. We actually didn't know. I actually thought she was my mother, you know. And then when the family, you know, in our family, we asked, "Can I take Grace with me?" Apparently, that happened behind my knowing. I was just younger, and that's how I relocated to Japan. She took me, and she was my mom at that point, and she had, you know, I was living with her, and
Mm-hmm.
we had her daughter, her son, and who my brother. I call them that way. That's how I
Okay.
ended up there. I didn't choose. It was the younger me that was told to go.
Isn't that the way we grow up back home? They just tell you what to do, where to
Right,
go.
right.
Now we are going to dive into you are very strong on community service, on self-service. So it was actually in Japan where the concept of self-service, service above self, was actually ignited. Okay. So I want
Mhm.
you to tell our listeners you participated in a poetry competition at school. Tell us exactly um, what happened and what you did with the prize money that you received.
But Vankama, you really started me. Is this what you do to everyone? I came here, I thought we were gonna talk about something else, something else. But what you do,
I did some digging.
yeah, you're bringing back the things I've spoken. This is why it's important to talk about the truth because you don't have to remember, right?
Mm, mm,
So thank you for that question. As a student, I actually, my anger, my excitement, I use my pen and paper to write. At
mm.
one point, we had a competition. This is in Japan. We had a competition, and if you win that competition, whatever, I think there are three prizes.
Yes.
You choose a charity that you want to support. And I was there because of my aunt. I was like, okay, let me, you know, I was good in poem. I'm like, I am Zambia. Zambia is me. I am the
Mm,
woman that gave birth to the generation that first segregation. I am the woman that picked cotton fields. I used to do all of that, right? I was like, oh my God. And I write poetry. And sometimes I'll tear them apart because some of the words I'll use in poems will share my struggles, and I didn't want people to know about my struggles. And now I'm speaking about them. I wish I kept those. So in Japan during our poetry, I did poetry competition.
mhm.
Went to round one, round two, round three. Wankama, if at the end I won, I said, I'm the only black
First
person,
prize.
first prize. And let me tell you, me winning. I don't even win
Uh,
bingo. I don't win bingo. I don't win when I play to, you know, some little, but I
uh,
won. But what I'm, I think that winning translated or transformed into something else. I decided, this was 1990, I think six, seven. Zambia was not Zambia, Sub-Saharan Africa. The
mhm.
world, the world, a global war was going through the HIV/AIDS pandemic,
Yes.
but it wasn't the start of HIV/AIDS pandemic. It was in the middle where people needed medicine. It's like the second period of COVID, right? It's like that time when they need help. I dedicated Magoya. It's a small clinic. This was because my aunt took me there. I didn't want to. My mom was there. Back in Mumbai, I
Mm,
decided not to support Mumbai. I decided to my aunt because she took me there. She opened a window and a door of opportunity for me to be in Japan. I decided to support the village where she was coming from. Near Research in Magoya, I donated. When I won, I donated things to buy slashers. I don't know if you know my slasher. Maisha
Fikwa,
mas- mai-
Fikwakwa.
So I donated that. They bought my wheelbarrows, bicycles, beds, and my goal was to transport people who are weak, who are sick to the hospital. So bicycle did that, my wheelbarrow did that, and then when people go to the hospital, you needed beds where they can rest. So I did that. I did that all the way from a distance in Japan, and I remember my family. My
Mhm.
family saying, "Ah, Nichani, we are poor. Why do you pay? Why do you pay the hospital? Just give us some money." But do you know why? Like, why I didn't do that?
Uh-huh.
Do you know
Uh,
why I didn't give to my family the money?
No, why didn't you give it to the family?
No, because the competition prescribed that you have to give it to a charity.
Yes, yes, of
So
course,
that,
most definitely.
yeah, so I'm glad. Yeah, so I couldn't give it to my family. That would be dishonesty. So when I'm like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ngombe,
I
I
see.
would have bought my ngombe.
That's that's integrity right there.
Yeah, so I did that. I donated to the village, and I went back. I think a year later, where my uncles in Magoye, they all came, and Minister of Health, by the way, 1997, I think the Minister of Health in Zambia, I don't know who was there. If people watching, let us know who was there. Approached and came. They asked me to speak. Actually, I was able to see the bicycles, the beds, and this was held at the hospital. And
Uh-huh.
I hope in the future I can still
In
support.
Magoye, right?
Magoye, I went to Magoye. Minister of Health came to Magoye. And I was like, hey, akakamwana. But it was God. It was God who blessed me. It wasn't my take, my words. So thank you for asking that question. You're bringing me back to my village time.
It's very important. It's very,
Mhm.
very important. Yeah. We're talking to Grace Mukupa. She's sharing a story of resilience. What I want everybody to get from this is when you have an opportunity, you see, we need to believe, we need to have that concept that you are blessed to be a blessing.
Amen.
When you get an opportunity to, when you're elevated and lifted in life, use that. She could have easily given the money to her family, but because of integrity and honesty, she didn't do that. Now, before we get into talking about the service things that a lot of work that you do, the last part of this show, that's what I'm going to dedicate it to. Okay, the things, the work that you're doing out there in the community. Let's briefly talk about. I like this concept of the way you put things. The women of Mwana Mongole raised me. My village shifted to Japan.
Mhm.
And then you stated that your village shifted to your professors and mentors when you went uh, to university, college life. Tell us about this transition into university. How was it like? And how was life there?
But you reading all this, you really, really started me. So you were scaring me. You should have warned me before I came here. So my transition into university, I came from Japan on my own with the help of course, my aunt worked at the embassy.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt, as we speak, passed away. My mom
Oh,
passed away. They actually
sorry.
passed away 8 months apart in 2001 and 2000. So it's been over 20 years. Grace, I'll say, bless them and bless their souls. So my transition to Japan was just me from Japan to the US, coming here for college
Mm-hmm.
at the university. The support system really once became another village in a different shifted right to professors and mentored. I was fortunate to have professors who understood my value. Undergrad, um, I didn't understand how grades in America worked. Your GPA really works. It supports you when you grow. I didn't understand. So for me, as you can tell, I'm involved in a lot of stuff. I went to Sacred Heart. I think I shared earlier. In Japan, I went to Sacred Heart International School. They came to recruit us, and then
Mm.
I came to Sacred Heart. It was a Christian Catholic school. We wore
Okay.
uniforms, and I said, "Oh, we gonna wear a uniform when I get to America and all that stuff." But when I got here, Sacred Heart in Connecticut, or Connecticut, other people say Connecticut,
Mm.
uh, they didn't wear a uniform. It was like hip hop in a house, people wearing sagging and this, and it was just a confusing thing because my aunt passed away. The embassy won't contribute, and I just became after I became over 18. They don't pay for it. There are rules and regulation when you come to to government how they can support your kids. I had to
Mhm.
transfer to Southern Connecticut State University. I think this is where I thrived. I became my prefect. Back with Zambia, you guys say prefect. We call
Mhm.
RA. We call
Yes.
resident assistant.
Yes.
I
Uh-huh.
worked at the gym. You know me, I didn't work out like I just worked out. I just checked in people. I looked at people at the gym. But with that notion, I met people and professors who understand me. I became a leader. Then I also became a member of a sorority. I became a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And most
Mhm.
people, Rosa Parks, Eleanor Roosevelt, even
Yes.
Kamala Harris is a member of that. People who have shaped the generations of women in America who I look up to. I became a member. So because of that leadership, right,
Yes.
I experienced that the university community really became my new support system. I continue to embrace my values, my hard work, service, and community service. I worked at the International Student Office, so I understand, which I do now. I understand and mentor people coming to the U.S. to
Mhm.
to, to find education opportunities, and so I write the letters if they need me to support for their graduate school. And so I look at it from early childhood in Mumbai to Japan. I had to bring the same value. I didn't have to
Mhm.
change. It's just that my community changed. You know what I mean?
That's right. There
When
you
I,
go.
yeah, last time I went to Zambia, the U.S. Embassy invited me to speak and share my experiences of graduate school to
Mhm.
people who are planning to come to U.S. for education. So if you're out there listening, feel free to email. We'll share our email later on, or contact the host of this show. It's okay to have someone share your experience. If that's their own experience, you might have a different one. So my community
Mhm.
shifted to the university. I didn't have a family. I became the president, and I was vice president of the African Student Association. So my African people who are
Mhm.
at the university and those who support African culture became my support system. So that's
There
how
you go.
I transitioned from Japan to the US. I was mature. I understood my role, and I still kept my values despite where I moved.
Mm.
So thank you. I can keep going out.
That's amazing. Enjoying. We're talking to Dr. Grace Mukupa. We're going to take a break here. And when we come back, we shall read comments from the people watching. And then we shall talk about self above service. Service above self. Okay. Let's go. Kitchen Meals are our sponsors for this program. It's holiday season. If you need a cake, Zambians, mascono. She can do scones, cakes, everything. Our sponsor for this program. Just get in touch with her. If you need to subscribe to our social media platforms, you can see that barcode in the corner of the screen. Just scan on that with your phone, and it will take you to all our social media platforms. Mwansa says, "Good morning, madam." Mwansa is in Indiana. Dr.
Mm.
Yeah, Dr. Stella Siachika, amazing lady. She says, "Hello, hello. Happy birthday, happy birthday, Stella."
Yes.
She
Yes.
turned off, she turned off her phone, so I left her a crazy voicemail. She knows her brother is a little bit watching from Zambia Kafue.
Mm.
Rosina Mukupa
Mm.
is watching from Kafue. You recognize the name?
Uh, I think so. That's my little cousin, I think.
Okay.
Unless they have two people, they have two people with the same name or something. Yeah.
All right. I
Oh,
like
coffee.
this comment,
Okay.
Dr. Stella. She says, "We appreciate your acknowledgement, Dr. Grace, of the woman who raised you. Assisting with household chores can cultivate a strong work ethic in women. It is
Mm,
crucial that many people stop speaking disparagingly about
mhm,
their aunts, uncles, or anyone who has provided them with care and support."
mm,
Wow. Yeah,
mm.
that's powerful. That's
Dr.
powerful.
Stella.
Yeah, yeah,
You.
that's powerful, Dr. Stella. That's powerful. And
Mm-hmm.
that's exactly what Dr. Grace is saying here. She's
Mm.
saying instead of, I know there's a lot of negative things you can say about your life or upbringing, but you choose to look at it differently. Okay. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
here's a lady who's responsible for telling me that you have a compelling story to tell. Priska
Uh,
says,
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
Priska says, good morning. Thank you, Mrs. Chirwa. One of my amazing sister and lady in our community, Brenda. Good morning,
Mhm.
Pastor Nathan and Dr. Grace. Let me look for another comment here before. Yeah, Mwanza says, standing ovation to you, first prize, eh?
Lighting. God, bring it on, baby.
I know, right? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Clotilda also from the other end of the country, Washington, D.C. Washington, not
Oh.
D.C. Yeah. She says, good morning. And Dr. Kasonso, lelo ama-doctors nababuka lelo.
They woke up. Instruments. My grease.
They are supporting you, Kabiri.
This is the
What?
Kaondes. It's not just every doctor, but Kaondes.
Oh, this is your relative. I just remembered that.
Eh?
Okay, we'll leave that alone before you two start getting into it. Thank you, Dr. Kasonso. Good morning.
Good morning,
Okay.
everyone.
You are involved in a number of humanitarian projects, okay, a number of them, and also serve as president, like I said in my introduction, of the Crystal City Pentagon Rotary Club. Let's begin with Matala Women Farmers Association of Mumba.
Mm, mm, mm. Well, the Matala Women Association of Mumbai, I do think that when you start helping people, you got to look at your own house. Get your house in order before you
Mm-hmm.
help out because you understand yourself better. And so the Matala Women Association, oh my beautiful women, I love women's resilience. I love that picture. I visited last year,
Mm-hmm.
and these women are working so hard. They're working not as an individual, but in a community, like communal, to help each other. Whatever you farm, if they have a bicycle, if they're raising a cow or raising a goat, whatever they're raising, once one village has done one or two goats, they move to another. It's a communal way of looking at things. So the Matala Women Association, I hope in the future we can. They're developing. They're resilient. They're farther away from where I grew up, but I
Mm-hmm.
people, family who are working there and supporting with them. NGO, I think from Germany, funded them. And when someone funds you and you find fire in these women just moving forward, running with this, with the farming. And this is farming. I mean, how many percentage of Zambians live on farming? Right.
Mm.
So these women are really the head of the households. I do know Zambian, the man is the head of the household, but when you look at matriarchal way of thinking, women really run the show. So I
Yes.
went there to see if we can support them. I'm speaking because I will never stop supporting them. I visited them with farming, and their goal is to raise animals and support each other in a communal way, in not individual way.
Okay. All right. Let's talk
Or,
about
mhm.
let's talk about tell me how you say this. Herz.
Hers movement. Oh, this is Natasha. You had her on a show, didn't you? This
Oh
is my
yes, I
mentee.
did.
Yeah. She's my mentee, Natasha. Hers movement. I cook up a lot of people. They're everywhere. So this one, actually, the late Mr. Mwape called me and said we have a young lady, and her vision is maybe to do PhD or to work in a community or do something. Can
Mm-hmm.
you be her mentor? I'm like, well, you have so many people. Say, no, you're female. She's a young lady. I think she was 18 or so. She had just come back. She come from Zambia. I didn't know her. I told her, I said, I got my own family. I got my own cousins. Why you want to do that in this time? So Mr. Mape, who is late, connected with Miss Natasha, who took her at a young age. I feel like I'm a mother already, mother of many kids. And she was invited to the United Nations. I was able to facilitate that. Even when she got married, her mom and her sister were not able to come here due to different circumstances. We went to
Mhm.
her wedding to support her in Maine. That's her movement. We register her organization so that she can support women in Mufurira, where she's from. As I can tell
Maf-
you, you support the village where you come from first.
Mafken.
Uh-huh. Mufurira. So she supported women with what is sanitary pads, and what we wanted to do was sending sewing machines. I
Mhm.
believe in empowering people in that community. So sewing machine meant that the women in Mufurira, we take Zambian cloth and use Zambian cotton instead of importing those things from United States. We wanted our
Mhm.
own things and utilizing our own things. So that's her movement. We registered her organization, which is still it's on pause. I told her she just got married. So, but yes, I'm supporting. I'm on a board for that to
Okay.
support Tasha in
Yeah,
Mufra.
I think now it makes sense when she mentioned the board members. She did mention a Dr. Mukupa, but that time it didn't make any sense to me when she was talking about you. Let's talk about the Kafue block. What was that about?
Oh, it's not just Kafu Block. It's the oh yes, that's a Rotary, the Virginia Rotary 7610. I'm a member of that. So different clubs, they put money
Hmm.
together. This is a partnership that started in 2006 through through not the Rotary Club, but it was through the Peace Corps volunteer who was in Zambia. By the way, I also do the Peace Corps. I did in Macedonia, in Tajikistan.
Yes, yes.
But the person who did Peace Corps in Zambia came back and said the schools, the teachers, the men and women, they are using the same toilet. And the Rotary Club is a water sanitation. They go to Kafue, no, not Kafue, Kafu Block. Is
Kafue
that
block.
so? We visited 21 schools that are partnering with the Rotary Clubs of Virginia. So it's more than 21 clubs, more than
Wow.
20 schools. So we visited Chongwe Prison last year. We
Hmm.
visited 21 schools, two or three orphanages, a hospital, and we also, when we visited those, we're building toilets for the faculty or professors, the teachers, and then the students. Even Dagama Show, the Dagama Show near Ndola Airport. I've never been to, I've never been to Kopala, so it was my first time last year. So our
Hmm.
goal was to empower, like sanitation is a big thing, and I it's not a Kafubu block. This is a toilet. Who smiles to my toilet? My own aka. If I were food, and I'm wearing my Arlington shirt. My own aka. This is the head of the school. So she was showing us a toilet, and we were looking how we can transform. It says ladies.
So was that okay? Was that the toilet that everybody was using, the students and the teachers?
The ladies, my own, yes. So
Okay.
our
Mm.
goal is to amplify teachers' work and appreciate the teachers and have the teachers, the female teachers, the male teachers' toilets, and we build a borehole, but also we build a water tank so that the water is clean and it comes through. And sometimes solar system, the school can implement a solar. So we
Okay.
are continuing this work after 17 years with the Crystal City Pentagon Rotary Club. We're supporting the 76 district, 7610 district of Rotary.
Okay. Let's talk about this. You sent me the what
Yes,
is that is that in Zambia or here?
this is in Zambia. These are members of the Rotary Club. I traveled with five people. You can see in Zambia, we say Bazungu. In South Africa, Balungu. I was the only person of color who we traveled with. Also, all the Bazungus you see are from the US side, the Virginia
Hmm.
side, but they are more passionate. They are the ones that introduced me to this work. The Rotarians that you see, they are on the ground. This is Luansha.
Hmm.
Ndola, this is Ndola. See, Mr. Humphrey, this is Ndola. The Rotary clubs on Ndola, I mean, they are doing the work. They are helping the community in many, many different ways. By the way, for us to support Zambia, we have to partner with the Rotary Club on the ground.
On the ground. Okay.
On the ground. So right now we had to partner with them. If we didn't have a Rotary Club on the ground, we wouldn't be there. And let me tell you, they're the ones that drove us to these schools. To drove. I went to a prison. I'm a Zambian. When they told me in America that, hey, Dr. Grace, we support Zambia for this was 2019 for 15 years, I said, sign me in.
Mm.
You are supporting my own country and I'm here. You think I'm gonna sit here? and watch you do that. I said, I'm gonna join you. I was already a Rotarian. It's an amazing chemistry when you have people that want to advance and people that understand the value of community service. Service
Yeah.
above self. Yeah. So
Service above self.
yeah,
That's what.
service above self. So yeah, this is Rotary in Ndola.
No,
And
not that.
these are the Mumbai Women Association. I went to speak at this was Frederick Chiluba's school in where is it? I don't know if it's Ndola Ranch and Quito. It's in Copal. Yeah. And the women
Uh,
are, they're farming, they're sharing each other. I'm a great farm. I love farming. I
you
did.
love farming.
I love
Talk,
farming. Yeah.
talk about this. You told me the story about these balls, soccer balls.
Yeah, so when I used to play netball, no, I was Kasenta, I thought I was cute and all that stuff. People come to watch you. So I do believe that a football bring people together, just like in the US when you watch sports. You watch sports, people come, it brings people together of different parties. I'm talking about political parties in the US. But when you look at Zambia, Bola, Ileta, Wantubons, it doesn't matter what stature. So when we visit to build, this is a Rotary, we bring soccer balls just to include that student voice,
Yes.
include that community voice. And we everywhere we visit, we bring bola and netball, and we bring a pumpy sometimes. I remember playing in Tanzania in a pump, the pump. Tanzania
Uh-huh.
pump
To,
when
to, to, to put air in the ball.
oh, you put air. So for me, I think that it was just a sign that we leave behind to bring people together. People who come from different backgrounds, social structure. It doesn't matter who you are. When you talk about sports, it brings a community together to have
Yes,
fun.
it does.
So yeah, so we bring
That's so.
soccer.
I just wanted to show the people just a little bit of what you do. Just, I think this is a good question that we need to address from one. So she says, how can we support a mentorship program for our young people here in the diaspora so we empower them to be mentors in Zambia?
Let me look. How do we support mentorship program? You know what? I think this is it. Thank you, Vamansa. Thank you so much for that question. Mentorship is a big thing, and I shared earlier. I didn't have a family when I came here. Mentorship is what saved me. I surrounded myself with people that understand my values, where I wanted to go. Where I wanted to go, got to work for America. I said I have an MBA. I have a master's in global gender studies, not in Zion, and Zion PhD. This was mentorship that led me there. I met with people that didn't agree with what I was proposing, but I agreed with them at the end because they were experienced. So to support mentorship, we can start an organization, or Mukambaku Zambia, we're already mentoring people individually. Our families or friends. Let's get together and create. We can create a nonprofit organization, or we can create just like OZA. You have. I live in the DMV. We have SZDMV. That is. I call Kokopiwe. I call. I think you guys. So please, these people. Inga. Like these people. The president of. I call anybody who's. I think like Clement's the president.
Clement, yeah.
Clement and Demena, all these people really are mentors to us, who you ask, because they lead us in different organizations. But my goal is we can start a mentorship, or within our Zambian association in each state, you can start
community. Yeah,
we can start there.
Yeah.
I think starting small for me, I believe in starting small before you go big, because you learn the best practices. And then after that, it doesn't really have to be Zambia. Let's say the African children or people from the international, international, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't always have to be Zambia. Let's expand it, because I've met young people from Ghana and Nigeria, Kenya, even Rwanda, who have come and approached me, and they have the same questions as my young Natasha's had. And if you're here experience, give it back.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Pay forward, give it back.
This comment that Brenda, you're talking about associations. I think it's very important. Brenda is our vice president in the Dallas Fort Worth. She says the upbringing of Dr. Grace is what our children are lacking now. That home training is the foundation of success. I think that's very profound. I think that's very profound. Thank you. These are our leaders in the community.
Mr. Chair, I wanted to add about what Brenda said. I had an opportunity to live in Lusaka. My mom then worked at Kumasia Hotel, but my grandparents, they said no. Lusaka is going to corrupt you. Was that where come here, where we cook with firewood? So I really despised that upbringing, but I appreciate it. You might know then, but you will know later. Yeah, people lack that understanding. Sometimes an environment can change your perspective.
Oh yeah. Oh
It
yeah.
can
Oh
change your
yeah.
experience. So thanks about Brenda.
During this holiday season, how crucial is it for us to practice the spirit of Ubuntu?
Ah,
Uh, because you believe that the spirit of Ubuntu is within us, we just need to exercise it.
it is. I think we're all born with the spirit of Ubuntu. I think this is a social media platform. We can use social media platform to really add value in other people's life or destroy other people's life. So you choose. You can add, subtract. So it's up to you to do that. For me, for holiday season, I won't be home. I don't know. You see, in Zambia, we don't have hurricanes. We have in the United States, people affected by Hurricane Helene and this and that. I'll be volunteering with the church. You don't have to be religious to give back to your community.
There you go.
A lot of people that are homeless. There's mental health. As Africans, we don't talk about mental health. Rajaba Munjira, people selling the Javasobala my glass near the airport, near whatever. People think that some people are crazy, and we need to look at and appreciate and make it normal that mental health does exist in our community, especially African community. So my point is, reach out to your church, reach out to a community. There's so many things you can do. You don't need to wait for Martin Luther Day to give back. You don't need to wait for COVID to give back. So for me, I'll be volunteering during the holidays in South Carolina to give back to the people affected by hurricane. Let me tell you about host. The spirit of these people have lost families. And I remember someone said, come home. My boss said, come home, go home. But they've lost families, they've lost homes. So for me, my family's not here. I'll be home alone, maybe or so, or with friends and family and people, loved ones, but giving back. And then I'll celebrate, my family. The good thing, my family, my close friends, people I deal with, they understand my position and they're supportive. When you have a support system, it doesn't matter what you do. They're supportive that, okay, you can support people being affected. So during holidays, give a little. You don't have to give money. You can call somebody, call your mom, your parents, and just do something positive. There's so much negative, especially sometimes on TV, sometimes on social media. So much negativity. Add value. Make yourself.
The political thing seems to drown everything.
Mama, we don't need that.
Politics.
Let's add look at you. Why are you doing about politics?
Politics. Politics. People are sleeping hungry at Alebwelelapo. Whatever. I think
let's do. In a spirit of giving, I'll just charge everyone. Do I want to charge everyone to think positively? It's not about, New Year. Think about doing something positive. It could be your neighbor, your parents, your family. Just do something, or even a phone call. It's all not about money. Yeah.
Before you answer the question about your grandfather, I want you to tell us about your grandfather. I have an interesting announcement to make. We've been doing this show for 16 years, 17, going into 17 years next year.
Okay.
And my family has agreed to do a Christmas show with me.
Hey. Yes.
So everybody watching next week, my number one cheerleaders team is going to be here next weekend.
You are kidding me.
Yes. So we are going to do a show, Dr. Grace, called My Favorite Christmas Things. I can't wait. So you're going to meet the people that keep me straight, because I'm from Florida. Fueva como Frida tatua como
Oh, you didn't tell me you're from Mufrida. That's where my Natasha is, and now I'm supporting the school in Mufrida. You know,
Yeah,
we
I'm
just
from
sent them
Maf.
a drum.
I'm from
Nabola.
Mafken. I'm from Mafken, border town. That's what we call it.
Really? But you have a high school in Mufrida. That's the one we're supporting.
Oh, Mufura High School. There are three. Well,
Yes.
I don't know now. There are 4 or 5. I don't know. Let's end with this.
Uh-huh.
Tell us about your grandfather. How much influence he had on your life.
Man. My grand oh, this is what happened when you put stuff there. Munabelenga. You read. My grandfather, Mr. Enoch Mukupa, along with others, you know, when you say one person influenced you, that means there are other people that influenced him as well. So my
Yes.
grandfather passed away in October, right before COVID, 2019. He
Okay.
was, for me, he was a father figure. He was my inspiration. He was the one who said, let her go to look after cows. He was the one who understood that a woman's role in a household, in a Zambian culture, it can be anything. And I do remember
Mhm.
my grandfather had many female kids, including my mom. I asked her why he moved from different community to another in Southern Africa. And he said, oh, in South Africa, you know, you couldn't marry someone different. And the women
Mhm.
that she raised wanted the children to marry whoever they love, not because of their race. And he shared that with me. My grandfather, even my PhD is dedicated to my grandfather.
Oh, wow.
That raised me. My PhD is dedicated to them because sometimes you don't, we really give ourselves a lot of credit. Oh, I finished this, I finished that, but you didn't walk that journey alone. The
Mhm.
church was with you, your mentors were with you, your school. So my grandfather really, as a father figure, told me that you have to be humble no matter what you do. Be humble in what you're doing, but also don't forget where you come from.
That's right.
Don't forget where you come
That's
from.
right.
So I really loved him. Not growing up with a father, he was that person. Actually, Mukupa is the same. I used my grandfather. I actually thought he was my father until
Okay.
and I'm like, "Cindy, what's up?" So anyway, like, what's up? So as time went by, I realized he was my grandfather, but in a southern part of Zimbabwe called my Nini, my guru. So yeah, I really dedicate my love grandfather. You know, it's not just a grandfather, grandmother too. So
Okay.
Ziko Twalumba Siabonga. Oh,
Amazing. You've done a good job. Which email should we share with
the
everybody?
the
Your
team.
personal email? This one?
Yes, that one. Yes, that one. You can share, especially people in Zambia who are trying to come here if they need. Like I said, there's no single story. Like Shimamanya Chinde said, there's no single
Mhm.
story. This is my story. If you want my experiences and advice on your letter application, I am able to assist. Yeah, you can share that one. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Amazing. Well, everybody, that was our show for today. Dr. Grace Mukupa.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
You've
Hey,
done a
hey.
good job. You've done a good job.
Thank you for inviting me
You've actually set the press for my next week's weekend show.
with your family. Where are you though? You're in Atlanta?
Dallas, Texas.
Oh, you Texas.
Mm.
Everything is big in Texas. That's what they say.
Everything is. I'm sure you noticed that when you came. Even the speed limit here is big. Not here, DC 55.
Leave us alone, though. But we make your rules. We make your policies. So you gotta come out right.
My my pastor Yama here is watching. Yama, how can you have speed limit 50 on the freeway? Past Dr.
Ah,
Grace, speed limit 55.
we make your rules. Policy making. No, we
I
don't.
was saying to myself, this is not normal. How can you have a speed limit of 55 on the freeway?
Mm-hmm.
Here it's 70 and 85 at some point. Huh?
Enjoy.
Hi,
Enjoy.
Nasilele, watching
Oh,
from
Sissy.
India. And we cannot go away without me acknowledging this amazing lady. All right. Zenith, she says, visit that sick person in the neighborhood, drop a box of
Amen.
mangoes. Wow.
I mean, that's
Small
a mango.
small gestures go a long way. You see, we are brilliant minds in the community. We have brilliant minds in the community. Everybody, thank you for joining us. and happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you all. If you need to follow us on social media, just click that barcode on the right bottom of my screen, and it will take you to all our social media platforms. Dr. Grace, thank you.
Thank you for having me. Have a great weekend.
And enjoy your holiday season. Everybody, we shall see you next week as we talk about my favorite Christmas things. Bye.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.